I was excited to see the enthusiasm level at this event that I was afraid might have been somewhat diminished because of the power grab by the GOP at the convention, but it seems that has fired up not just your followers, but also the Tea Party movement, the grassroots movement. They seem even more activated and invigorated than they were before the big power grab.
I thought they were going to take a rest, but this event, came up pretty quick, and I guess there's a little bit of enthusiasm here tonight, too.
It must be nice to see, though.
Oh yeah, it is. It means that we're talking about something that is important to a lot of people, and that's always encouraging.
I remember back when your Audit the Fed was very popular. There was one vote for and 417 against, and you were the one for, and there were 417 against. And then I read this headline today in the Wall Street Journal: Fed acts to fix jobs market. And I got to imagine that a lot of people are reading that headline with much different ideas about what it is the Fed's supposedly doing.
Well, my first reaction is they've been told to do that 35 or 40 years ago, and they're the ones who gave us a bad job market. Now they're going to fix it?
Right.
I mean, that's why they've lost all credibility.
Right, and people didn't even know what the Fed was. But now people are going, yeah, we ought to audit the Fed. And even the people that you were debating against that were going for the nomination slowly started to embrace a lot of what you were talking about and adopted a lot of what it was that you were saying, even though there were people out there that were trying to make believe you weren't even in the race.
And there were times when they would little chuckle or laugh out loud. And there was this guy talking about it.
Right.
And all of a sudden they put it in the platform. So we're making progress. We're not quite there yet, but people know what it takes. The people have to become aware of something important, and the politicians fall on. The politicians aren't very good at leading. So the people, when they wake up on certain issues, they send a message. And that's the way, Campaign for Liberty work. They woke up the people on auditing the Fed, and they got the members of Congress to sign on. So I think it's a reliable system. That's the way we should do it. We have, radio talk show hosts and other people like that are supposed to wake people up.
I'm trying. I send them coffee in the mail before the show goes on so that at least get their attention. What do we do? What happens November 7th? Going forward, what is the movement all about? What are the people going to be doing? Because a lot of people were saying, well, Ron Paul didn't get the nomination. Romney's probably not going to win. It's another 4 years of the Messianic Socialist. What do we do? November 7th. I mean, how does this continue on?
Well, one thing is we all don't do the same thing. If our goal is to promote liberty, which should be the ultimate goal, everybody has different talents and different techniques, different time, different money, and different opportunities. But I think we just have to keep doing it. So, when I got interested enough to speak out on this, it was, in 1973. And over the years, it was done in different manners. A lot of times running for office, sometimes losing, sometimes winning, sometimes on the House floor, sometimes having an educational foundation, sometimes getting on the radio. And I think there's always an opportunity. But, of course, I emphasize the fact that the more people can educate themselves to know what the answers are and sound credible, there's going to always be a job, and they should pick the job to do that they're most comfortable and feel most skilled at.
And passionate about.
Yeah, that is it. And then if you get somebody and say, well, this is your job, go marching, and, well, I'm not comfortable with public speaking or something like that, then they might not want to do that. But there's always a role to play. But I think I've always felt a bit of responsibility to try to explain the best way I can some of the economic issues to find out, the Fed was never an issue up until recently, but the Fed's pretty important.
Pretty important.
So I think that is what we need to do, and we need the fundamentals. Why personal liberty is important, and it reflects on our economy and our happiness. Why foreign policy has to make sense too, or sometimes we might end up going to war when we shouldn't be going to war. So those basic issues all fall in place because for me it is understanding the importance of individual liberty. If you understand that and you work hard to protect individual liberty, you do end up solving the problems of monetary policy, property rights, contract rights, the economy, unemployment, and foreign policy as well. So and this is what I'm most encouraged by, because a lot of young people come up and said, I listened, I started reading, and all of a sudden, like, a light bulb comes on.
Right.
You know, it makes sense because it hasn't added up to a lot of people because they're told, well, use a lot of government over here, but not over here. It depends on what party you're in, it depends on what mood you're in, it depends on
right.
who's the special interest. But all of a sudden, if you put it all together, you know, they'll say, that makes sense. That's good common sense.
I don't think we should have to make the choice between capitalism and socialism. I think we can do better, and I think a large part of what your message was in that arena,
right.
And getting people involved in their own communities, getting them excited about the process, that it isn't going to be a one-off, flip a switch, and we elect someone and all the problems are going to be solved. I think what you're can hang your hat on is that you've gotten a lot of people involved in the process. You've given them a lot of inspiration and also a lot of hope that if we all work through this together, we will have much better outcomes for everyone. And I applaud you, sir. It's the reason I endorsed your campaign. It's always easy to stay on the radio and just go, well, I'm just going to wait until the Republican Party identifies who the nominee is, and I'm going to get fully behind him. I did want to get behind a lot of them, and I wanted to kick them in the ass. You've done that to America in a certain way, and you've awakened a lot of people to what needs to be done, and I applaud you for that. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Nice to be with you.
Appreciate it.